That's not true. I'm Jon Lindholm.
I am Nate Lindholm. We're here in Welch, Minnesota, and this is my garage. Yeah, so here in the garage we did a few bike shows. We hang our awards when we're done. This is not where we built them, but this is where we get them running again for each show. Kind of fun just to get together, hang out, get our bikes running again, diagnose whatever might happen in the last 5 years that we need to get going again. But in here, we still have the original welder that we bought to build these bikes. Chop saw and things, hand grinders, still got all the same tools that were used to build these.
Originally we were still at Mom and Dad's place. Dad got sick of all of our toys and stuff in his garage, so he took and built us a shed on like an old barn foundation that he had out back. No insulation in there, plywood walls. We had a wood stove to try to keep us warm, but it was perfect because all we were doing was making grinding filings and spray painting stuff, so it was a perfect place to just let loose on building these things. So as you can tell, we're twins, born at the same time. Actually, I'm 2 minutes older, if that matters. We started building just as something to do. One fun thing about building with Nate is, although we are twins, Nate is much more calculated, much more measured. He measures things many times, where I'm the type of guy that's just going to start chopping metal and welding until something fits right. So I think we pair pretty well when we're building together.
I think we built mine first. Bought it as just a stock 79 GS550 Suzuki. We built it the first time as a bobber. It's just a short bike. It was comfortable to ride, but I didn't really like how short it was. This is a short wheelbase. So I think maybe 2 years after we built it the first time, decided we're gonna stretch it out. This bike we call Stretch, for obvious reasons. We stretched it out. Not too practical. Originally when we were thinking about it, I wasn't real sure how I was gonna make this long swing arm. Then we got the idea to do lattice for strength. It turned out pretty good. We had to invert the tensioner. That should face the other way on a normal bike. So it's a little tricky to get the chain tight on this. It is a long chain too. We got 2 of them spliced together to make the full length. And then we did add some extra braces in with the seat in case that chain did let loose sometime when you're riding it. Built the bars on this one. We built them out of some old steel that was already bent. So we just cut where we needed to, and they turned out pretty good. I think my favorite part of this bike is the jockey shifter. This was on the original bike too, but we threaded the end of it so I can change the end. Right now it's just a pool ball, but we also had, I think, brass knuckles and a piston, different things we can put on the end of it. The clutch is on there as well, so you can shift and clutch at the same time. This one's a little tricky. When you're riding, your leg needs to be inside the jockey shifter, so if you stop at a stoplight, you can just use the one leg to prop yourself up. Only thing left I want to do on this bike is probably bags. And I'll probably do like old jerry can bags, cut them open and put them on the back. This is, I wish it had a cool name, we just call it the trike, because that's what it is, and we don't have another 3-wheeler around. So this is the trike. It started life as an 81 Kawasaki 440 Limited. This is the first bike I did with belt drive, which was I was pretty excited about. Most commonly we're doing chain bikes. So I really like the belt drive system on this one. This is a matchup again. This is a matchup of a 81 440 Kawasaki and it's like a Polaris Predator swing arm in the back. So it's a sport quad swing arm and rear axle. Part of the challenge of the build was actually finding tires to fit these wheels. With the ATV swing arm and axle in the back, I'm running ATV rims, and to find street tires to fit an ATV rim at the time, it's more common now, but at the time was really difficult. So that was probably most of the money spent in this conversion here was spent on wheels and tires. When we first started doing bobbers, we really liked full color builds, so we would paint the frame, tank, fenders, everything the same color. On this one I wanted to go more black, so motor came down on this one all the way down, painted cases, painted cylinders, and did all black. But I really liked a lot of the bikes I was seeing with kind of just some of these little accents of color. So green grips, I really like those. That's it's a baseball bat grip material that I used to make the grips on that one. The swap actually wasn't too bad. The swing arm from the ATV almost fit directly into the back of this thing.
So that was pretty good. That almost bolted right in. We did have to build, obviously, the shock mount and everything to fit that shock there. The seat, we were sort of playing with all of our building stuff. We really wanted to try to make our own seats. So that is a hammered out handicap parking sign, I think, with some stuffing and then just riveted leather in there. Another challenge on converting this was to get the sprocket, that rear belt drive sprocket, to fit this axle. And without any real precise measuring tools or machines, it was a lot of just playing around to get that thing centered on the axle and mounted right and at the right distance to keep that belt tension. This one is not a hardtail. It's got the shock from the Polaris in there yet. I think in the future the trike will, I have some plans to build kind of a DIY homemade Springer front end for this one. I have the materials, just got to find the time to do it. I think that will kind of finish off the trike and it can just live in this state for a while. If someone were to come up and ask now and they wanted to start building bikes, some advice I would have is to search around. Now it's Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Find an old Japanese bike, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, something mid-80s or older, because you're going to avoid shaft drives. You can get a chain drive and a belt drive, which is much easier to build with. So I think I would start by searching around for a bike that fits your budget. And then what worked for me in the past, I don't know if you did it too, I think we sort of did it together, but I would go online and just search for the type of bike I wanted to build and then just find a bunch of pictures. And instead of looking for something you want to build and mimic, look for bikes that you despise and hate. Look for stuff you don't like and then avoid that at all costs, because now you'll end up with a bike that you like. You'll sort of get skills along the way. If you want to learn how to pound metal, start with that. If you want to learn how to paint, if you want to learn how to pinstripe, if you want to learn how to make something go fast, just pick whatever thing you're shooting for and just start building.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be terribly expensive if you don't have a ton of money. You don't need super fancy tools or anything. We built some stuff that's a little ratty, but yeah, it doesn't have to cost a lot.
You wanted to thank me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the best part about building the bikes with your twin is he's a built-in best friend. So I just want to thank Jon for helping me along the way. He was always the artistic one. He could help me paint, help me bring the whole idea together. So hey, thanks, bro.
Hey, and thanks, Nate. Nate was always the one that kept me grounded on things that we should or shouldn't build or try, or that were maybe too dangerous to be on the street. Which, not that these things are real street safe, but this is what we ended with, so you can imagine the ideas I had to begin with. Thank our parents for building us a place to start this dream. And we've had a lot of friends along the way that have helped us get to shows and introduce us to people that we wanted to meet. And thank you for the companies like Dennis, Kirk, that put on these shows that we can come and show this stuff off at.